Greetings, viewers. Welcome back. Here at Worldwide Economic Migrants, we help one another on how to navigate in foreign countries, and we believe that chitra chiri murotsoka, we will get to learn of new ways of doing things and also new things as we venture on this journey, and also we believe that our lives improve. So chitra chiri murutsoka. And on this journey, you'll find that it has challenges, many challenges, though it's doable, starting from the challenges of getting a job. When we are looking for jobs, it is challenging, it is not that easy. So today I have a sensitive story which I want to talk about. I've been thinking about it, but I realized that I have to talk about it, and it can help us as economic migrants. And before I do so, I want to thank you for your time watching my videos, liking, subscribing, commenting. I do really appreciate, and I also encourage you to share this video. Share it with your colleagues, with your friends, with your relatives. Share it. You can help another person by doing so. So thank you. The story I have for today, as I said, it's a sensitive one. It's a very, very sensitive one. I love Kenya. I love Kenya. I love Kenya so much. I have many destiny helpers that are Kenyans, and I love Kenya. I love them. So there is this story which is trending, the story of Nduta, who is a Kenyan, and I feel for Kenyans, I feel for the relatives and friends of her. This lady got a job through an agent to go and work in a country which is in Middle East, and she had to travel by bus from Kenya to Ethiopia, and according to the agreement, she was to fly to Qatar. But as she was there, she was told by the agent that she met that she was to go to Laos via Vietnam, and she was given a bag. And then she went to Vietnam, and Vietnam officials found 2 kg cocaine in that bag. And according to the law, this bag was hers, because she was the one with the bag. So she was, that was in 2023. And she was convicted and found guilty and was sentenced to death. Vietnam is one of those countries that have tough laws, stiffer penalties in certain crimes. And drug trafficking is one of the crime that attracts death penalty. So there is a certain amount that is considered to be punishable by capital punishment if you are caught with it. So this one was caught with 2 kg, which is beyond the one that maybe you be given a sentence which is not death penalty. So from the time she left, that is 2023, the relatives have been searching for her, not knowing her whereabouts, until recently they got to hear, through social media, that their relatives were sentenced to death in Vietnam. So it is painful. I feel for the family, I feel for Kenya, and because of that, the people also were crying, the people of Kenya, and they alerted the government officials, even the president, and they had to sent officials from Thailand, from the Kenyan embassy there, to go and negotiate with the Vietnam government and see if they can get clearance, or if they can make her go to Kenya and let her be tried there. But we are hoping that those talks will be fruitful, so that what is on the ground so far, I had not heard of any news on how the talks went. I think they are still talking, and yeah, that's why I said it's a sensitive matter. Myself personally, when I look at this case, it's a complex one. It's a complex one because as for me, I cannot say she is innocent or she is truly guilty. What I know is the Vietnamese officials caught the cocaine in the bag that belonged to her. And as she was saying, she was given the bag by the agent. So according to the statement of the relatives, they were saying when she got that job of going to work in the Middle East, they even celebrated. Even the villagers celebrated, that excitement you have when you know, hey, finally, we've got a job. That excitement. So they were rejoicing, celebrating, praising God that finally she got a job, and you think life is going to change, but now you hear of this. So it's not something which is easy to comprehend. It's painful. That's why I'm saying I feel for the family, I feel for the Kenyans, and I want to comment on something regarding this issue. And I said I'm not going to comment on whether she's innocent or she's truly guilty, because I don't know what really happened. She is the one who really knows. What we are working on is what we are told. So I was looking at just the facts that were given by the relatives. If we are to work on that, this Nduta got a job through an agent. That's where my issue is also. I want to talk about that, because you find that sometimes there are certain fields where we get jobs to go and work in other countries through agencies. And there are certain areas where you can apply direct to the company without using an agent. I know people, they normally ask, how did you get a job, when they are asking other people, and they say, give me a link, give me a link, give me a link. But for some people, they don't know it when we are saying, give me a link, give me a link, because they got their jobs through the direct company. But there are certain areas like that where you get a job through agencies or through certain companies that recruit expatriates. So what I want to say is, commenting on that, we have to scrutinize, do a thorough research when we are to use these agencies. Is it legit? Seriously, is it registered, this company? We don't have to trust strangers we see online. You don't know them. And we don't even have to trust even some of the friends, some of the people we have connections with. People are becoming evil. Not everybody, but we are in the world. So we don't have to trust strangers. We don't have to trust the connections we are given by our friends. Once they give you, or you see it online, or someone tell you about jobs, maybe you are in church, sit down, do a thorough research regarding that agent. Research. If it's like you are in your country, you want to research about that company, research, you will see it whether it is a registered company. But that is not the end. You also have to ask other people on whether it does its things the proper way. Because some agencies might have been registered, but they do things the illegal way. Okay, let me give you an example of like what was happening when these companies that were recruiting people for care work in UK. Some of them ended up, selling the COS and also selling COS without hours for the sake of just getting money, being greedy, not doing things the right way. And you would find that they were registered companies, but they are now doing things the illegal way. That's why I'm saying we have to really do a thorough search. Ask people. Ask even in groups. There are some people, some agencies which are known, or some people which are claiming to be working for certain companies, which are now known even on the social media, that this one is a crook. That when you ask, people will tell you. So we have to do that thorough research. Research, please, research. Don't just have that mindset of, I want to go, or be naive, or what. And when we are talking of these issues, it's not about being educated sometimes. Though you find that sometimes people take advantage of your ignorance. But sometimes when you are dealing with people, agencies that are doing things, the illegal way, they are cunning. They are so cunning that sometimes you wonder, how did I end up doing this? Oh, I don't want to talk much about this. So, how many of you were not crooked with these pyramid schemes? That's why I'm saying sometimes it's not about being educated or not being educated. You can be crooked by those people. Let me not talk much about that, because I know we can open wounds to some of the people. So let me not talk much about that. So I am saying there are people who are greedy. They are human traffickers. Let me tell you the definition of human trafficking. Let me read the one I have here. Like human trafficking involves the recruitment or movement of people for exploitation by the use of threat, force, fraud, or abuse of those who are vulnerable. So you find that there are people who are in that business of doing human trafficking. These people, they know you. They know that you want a job. They know that you are desperate. They know that you are in poverty. They know that maybe sometimes you lack education. They know your level of education. This one is educated to this level. So when we are dealing with this one, we deal with her slowly, showing her sort of like things are okay. I'm saying this because I have seen also some who were educated, who think they know it all, but they were duped with these agencies. I know some who were even telling me that they lost money through these agencies, fake agencies. So I am saying these people are so cunning. They know how to talk with you, how to manipulate you, and you end up doing things that you will regret. And sometimes if these people are in your country, if they have an office, go there to their offices and see if it's truly legal. Research, ask, search. Let us be people who love to learn, who love to research on certain things. So you find that these traffickers, they normally target people so that they could use them forcibly in industries like you find sometimes construction, sometimes in agriculture, sometimes in sex industry, sometimes in farms. Sometimes, they can make you to do things online that I don't know how to explain it. And once you are in their hands, sometimes it's not that easy to come out of that situation. So we better prevent this. Let us be cautious, not to just talk with the strangers. Don't make deals with people you don't know. And sometimes parents, if your child says this, and the child is young, it's better to accompany that child to that office and see whether it's really true. And I know there are people who don't want to be told the truth. They say, you don't want us to be rich. But if you are told the truth, it will help you to search for that job well and not to end up into a situation like this we are seeing. Why is it that they have to mediate to travel by bus from Kenya to Ethiopia? Why? Because she was supposed to just move from Kenya to Qatar. These stories, if you don't really understand how these people work, these human traffickers or drug traffickers, how they work, or if it has not happened to someone who is close to you, sometimes it may be difficult to understand these stories, but personally I know of these stories. So we have to be aware of human traffickers. Okay. And the other thing that is challenging, when she was given that bag, if she was given that bag by those people, obviously they gave her at a place where there are no cameras and it's difficult to trace them. Obviously it was not at the airport. Okay. And this person is called John. Johnny who, even if that Johnny have seen those people who are crooks, who are wicked, when they do their dirty things, you find that they don't tell you, some of them, they don't tell you their real names. Because these people, you don't know them. This situation is different from a situation where you are duped by someone you know. In this case, this is John. Even if you know the same name, they will give you maybe wrong names. In some cases, you find that such people might be having many identity documents with different names, so that they use different names at any given situation. Even if you try to trace how they bought the tickets or what, they can use someone who is far. How can I explain this? It's not easy to trace such people. Though, yes, they can be traced, but the challenge is sometimes you find that knowing their real names is challenging. So I know some who are saying they can trace, but yes, they can try. Yes, they try, but it's not easy tracing such people. Some of them, they have many passports, crooks. And now you will be just saying it's John. So, and also, that country she was entering, Vietnam. It is not its duty to look for that John. What they just have to deal with is, you have entered here and we found this in your bag. So sometimes we end up being victims of human trafficking or drug trafficking unknowingly. So we don't know about this one, whether she entered into this knowingly or she was tricked. According to her, she didn't know. According to the parents, the relatives, they are saying what I have told you. So we cannot say she is truly guilty or she is truly innocent. Only her knows what really happened. But me, I'm just talking of these things that affect us as we are looking for jobs as economic migrants. This is what we face sometimes. Yeah, I told you that personally I know people who were telling me of how they lost thousands and thousands, some they lost their houses paying these agents which were fake. But sometimes after losing money, you just say, oh, thank you, Lord. At least I was not trafficked. Because once we have been trafficked to another country, it takes the grace of God and the government to intervene. It's not that easy to come out of the hands of those people. Those ones who have passed through such a horrible moments, they know what I'm talking of. It's not easy to come out of that situation. So we need to educate one another. Let's educate our friends, our siblings. Let's educate those ones, our workmates. Let's educate one another so that we don't trust people. Recently, I saw a story of someone. This one was trafficked to a country which is far, far, far. After paying lots of money, and she was even borrowing that money. She spent a lot on that journey to go and start working, doing these things. And it was not easy now. And those people, when they know that you are now in their hands, they take their phone, they take your phones. They limit your movement. So you find that this human trafficking, it takes away your dignity. It takes away your freedom of movement. Some of them, they face I don't know how to explain it. Some came back in coffin. Going back in your mother country in coffin. God forbid. That's not our portion. Some came in wheelchairs. God forbid. That's not our portion. Some came very, very sick. Some came without organs. I don't know how to explain this. Yet you will be thinking my life is going to change. But you find yourself in the hands of those people. So we need to help one another. Sometimes it's better to stay in your country than falling into the hands of these human traffickers. Looking at this issue of Margaret Nduta, you can see that there is an issue of drug trafficking. There is also an issue of human trafficking. The agent she dealt with, was into human trafficking and drug trafficking. It's happening. These stories are happening. Sometimes we don't want to listen. I'm not talking of this Nduta because I don't know his circumstances, what made her to end up falling into this. But I'm saying for some, you get warnings, but you don't want to listen when we are telling you. And you say, we don't want you to come here. But as for me, I tell you the truth. I'm not here to tell you lies. I tell you things as they are. You take it from there. If you continue, but after you have heard, it's up to you. Because in life, we have been given free will to choose. But I'm talking of this because I know there are people who are vulnerable. These traffickers, they take advantage of people who are vulnerable. Who are these who are vulnerable? People who are poverty-stricken. People who are desperate. People who are less educated. They take advantage of such people. So I am here to tell them, to educate them, so that they know of these things, so that we don't continue falling into this trap. There are certain countries right now where we are told that don't go to these countries, don't go. If you are to go, do thorough research. But on these sectors, people that are going there as maids, they are being abused. And I'm not going to talk of any country. And we are told, yes, if we can listen. But we continue, some of us, doing that. And some of us end up now falling into what I was talking of. You are now forced to do things you don't want to do. So we need to be aware of such things. We need to be aware of such things. We need to be attentive to what surrounds us. Just being knowledgeable. What is happening in the world? What is happening? And also just to know, if you want to go to a certain countries, know the basic laws of that country. Let's take, for example, let's say if this lady, maybe, let's take, for example, if like she had agreed to that deal of doing drug trafficking, I don't think if she had knowledge about the laws of Vietnam, I don't think she was going to accept that offer. If she had knowledge, I don't think so. I don't think she was to accept that offer. So we need knowledge. Just to know the basic laws of any country you intend to go. If you want to go to countries where you know you have to put hijab, call it hijab. You don't go there and then not put it. If you know you are a woman, you have to put it. You abide with the laws. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. In the courts of law, that's how it is. So we need to help one another so that as economic migrants, we don't end up in situations like this. Considering the education level of we, I don't think she was someone who was well-versed with these things. Because they were saying also it was a first time of moving international. And these scammers, these agencies who are like this, the ones she was dealing with, they know how to confuse you. You get confused that you wonder, how come I ended up like falling into this trap? And also this issue of changing routes and what? They do that. I'm telling you. They do that, and they do it when they know it's difficult for you to know that things are not okay now. What these people do, they study you, and they know you very well, that this one, the weak point of this one is this. If they have seen that this one is not educated, they know how to make you be confused, and then you end up falling into their trap. If you are educated, they know also how to deal with you. These issues, you can be duped even if you are educated. very, very educated. I said, how many of you have fallen into these scams of pyramid schemes? Let me not talk. But that's life. That's life. Life is like that. Life is like that. You know, sometimes you can think you are too clever. And when it happens, you will not even understand. It will be like a dream. You will not even understand how it have happened. You will not even understand yourself. So, we are just hoping that the talks will go well. And she will not be executed. But my fellow Africans, let us be cautious when you are dealing with agencies. Let us not be desperate to an extent of doing things that will make us to lose our lives. Your life matters. Your life matters. No matter you are desperate or you are in poverty. I know poverty. Don't think when I'm talking of this, I don't know poverty. Or maybe saying, she's saying that because maybe she was privileged. That's how we miss it. When someone is talking, listen. I know poverty. I know when you are in such a situation where you are desperate. But that desperation should not take your life. Your dignity matters. Your freedom matters. That's all I can say. And I will continue also commenting, telling you another story about issues like this. I will tell you. For the sake of time, I may have to stop. But get this. No matter you are looking for a job, no matter things are tough in your country or wherever you are, this one should be number one. Your life matters. Your dignity matters. Your freedom matters. Asante sana.